Welcome to a very special edition of the Football Reporters Week 17, final week of regular season, / playoff preview. Now, this is going to be very interesting to see. I'm also going to be talking about the coaching firings. I'll be talking about all the games that happened last week. I'll be talking about the games that are happening tomorrow and Sunday, where I think of all 12 teams, and I'll give you one reason they'll win and one reason they'll lose the Super Bowl. Some of them may overlap. Let's start here, though, with the Week 17, because, that's how usually the format goes here. Starting with the New England Patriots defeating the Miami Dolphins 35-14. Tom Brady had 3 touchdowns, including a big 77-yarder to Julian Edelman. Julian Edelman had over 150 yards, 98 catches. He had 8 catches, so good day for him. Tom had another touchdown to one more touchdown to Martellus Bennett early in the game, and another touchdown to Michael Floyd, who got the touchdown when he just plowed through 6 guys. Miami kind of gave up after that 77-yard touchdown. They couldn't really move the ball in the beginning of the game. They didn't make it close, though, I'll say that much. Kenny Stills beat out Van Noy. Jarvis Landry had a nice reach-out touchdown. But Miami's, they're going to be in the playoffs, and as a result of that win, the Patriots will clinch home field advantage throughout the playoffs in the AFC. Other games, the Colts defeated the Jaguars 24-20. Last second touchdown pass by Andrew Luck. This pretty much did save his job. This saved Chuck Pagano's job because he's going to be staying there. Reports out today that he will stay in Indianapolis. I don't think he should. I think him and the GM, Ryan Grigson, should be fired. They've done a terrible job. Well, Grigson especially. I don't think he's put much talent around Andrew Luck. This team should be really a lot better than an 8-8. And they should be winning the division instead of, the Houston Texans, who lost 24-17. Tom Savage was not out of the game with a concussion, so Brock Osweiler had to come back in. The game was meh. There really not really much to talk about in this game, other than the fact that the news coming out of there is that Brock Osweiler will be the starting quarterback in the wild card game against the Oakland Raiders, which we'll get to later. It's just going to be really tough. Tennessee, they had a really surprising good season, 8-8. No one thought that. They definitely improved from last season. I think they're one more step ahead. I think what they desperately need is a cornerback and a number 1 wide receiver. Delanie Walker's good. He gets injured all the time. DeMarco Murray had a good resurgence. The offensive line's really good. Marcus Mariota took another step forward, which is what I like to see out of Marcus Mariota. But they will be making the playoffs. These out for at least that's what I would do for Tennessee if I was Tennessee. I probably should have done that for the other 2. Okay, so let's go through the other 2. Jacksonville and Indianapolis. Jacksonville really needs some disciplined head coach. Indianapolis, they need a lot of defensive help. Anyway, Houston's moving on to the playoffs, and 8-8 going on. 8-8 not really going home. That's what I say. The Jets defeated the Bills 30-10. Again, all right. 2 teams that are not making the playoffs. One just recently fired their head coach in Rex Ryan in Buffalo. Todd Bowles will be staying as head coach in New York. What the Jets really need is a quarterback. That's pretty obvious. They have 4 of them, and none of them can play, apparently. I'm so close. I had 3 starting. I predicted at the beginning of the season that all 4 starting quarterbacks would be starting. I was close. Got 3. But, yeah, they really need some. I think they need a quarterback because I think they have the receivers. I think they have. Bilal Powell's a really good running back. Front 7's great. Secondary still needs work, so probably another corner to replace old Darrelle Revis. Someone to get rid of Ryan Fitzpatrick, and I think the team will be better next year. They'll be picking high in the draft, but I think what they really desperately need is defensive help and quarterback help. And the guy that's on my list, an idea if he doesn't sign in Washington, is Kirk Cousins. Kirk Cousins going to the Jets because they have Marshall, Decker, Quincy Newell came up later in the year. Bilal Powell, I think, should really be taken over as the lead back there in New York. The Bengals defeated the Baltimore Ravens 27-10. Both teams out of the playoffs again. It's not really much of a meh game. Bengals, what they really desperately need, I guess, it's a new head coach, but they're not going to fire Marvin Lewis, obviously. As for the Ravens, I think they need a running back. I think they really do need a running back. I think their defense got a lot of studs on it. Receivers, Steve Smith just retired, so Mike Wallace is going to probably take over as the primary target. I don't know like that. I would like them to sign another receiver, a nice slot receiver to replace that, and I think they really do need a running back. As for the Bengals, I think they need a head coach, but they won't fire him. So they won't do that. I guess next step is the defense. I think they need to get younger on D. The Browns lost again to the backups of the Pittsburgh Steelers, 27-24, and what a interesting game. A nice touchdown pass to... Who caught that touchdown pass anyway in overtime? I forgot who it was. It's been so long. Alright, let's see your summary. Here it is. So, Cody Hamilton got the touchdown in overtime to beat the Browns 27-24. Not really much to say in this game. No, there's not really much because just a bunch of backups, and the Browns are 1-15. They clinched the number 1 overall pick. Probably going to be drafting Jonathan Allen out of Alabama. Or they might be drafting a QB, or attempt to draft a QB again, but I don't think they will. As for Pittsburgh, they go into the playoffs, so I'll preview them later. Dallas, again, bunch of backups. Lost to Philadelphia 27-13. Tony Romo came in, looked great. I think it was like 3 for 4 and a touchdown. Nice little day for Tony Romo. As for the Eagles, what they really need, I think they really need a wide receiver and maybe some offensive line help, because Jason Peters is not getting any younger. They definitely do need a nice, stable receiver for Carson Wentz to throw to. You can't just be throwing to Zach Ertz and Ryan Matthews all the time. The Minnesota Vikings, very up and down year. They finished 8-8 at starting 5-0, defeating the Bears 38-10. Really, this game really was not really much. Can edit that out. All right, where was that? Oh yeah, Minnesota and Chicago. So the Bears, they kind of need defense. They need a lot of defensive help and a quarterback. I think they have a running back for the future. I think Jordan Howard's a really good running back. He finished second in the league in rushing. As for the Vikings, they need to get healthy. Apparently, their defensive backs went AWOL a couple weeks ago. I don't think Mike Zimmer should be fired, no, but you gotta do with the cards you dealt, and they were dealing with a lot of injuries early in that year, or early and midway all year long, to key players. And maybe it's time to draft another running back, maybe in like the 3rd round to replace Adrian Peterson. Oh God, who church the thought that Adrian Peterson can be replaceable? He will be. Tampa Bay wins despite getting eliminated from the playoffs, 17-16 on a last-second pass knocked down by it was Cam Newton throwing to Gray Olsen, and for a 2-point conversion that would have given Carolina the lead and the win. Instead of kicking the field goal, the extra point, to tie it and to possibly tie it and go to overtime, he decides to go for the win. Why? I don't know. What the Panthers really need is a new head coach. I don't think Ron Rivera is a good coach. I don't. I think they need something new. They need discipline. They really do need discipline. I think they need another receiver, a running back. Offensive line help. Cornerback. They did terrible against the pass, and really, it's a really disappointing season after a 15-1 year. So the Bucks, just make another step forward. Maybe more defensive help would help them. I think, particularly in the secondary, they need help. But Gerald McCoy's a stud. Jameis Winston, he's getting there. He's not taking quite as big a step as say Mariota has, but in terms of being a quarterback and kind of like living up to that big thing, he has cut down on the turnovers. Maybe get a second receiver for besides Mike Evans. You just gotta help him. Maybe a couple receivers, but I do see it there. He's got a lot of talent, but he's got to keep himself under control. That's the big thing he's got to do. And if he does that, then they might be contending for a wild card next year, contending for the NFC South title. Okay, the Arizona Cardinals just rolled over the LA Rams 44-6. I guess now is the time I should probably talk about the new coaching, because I think this is the first team I've talked about that has a new coach. Oh, wait, no, never mind. For Jacksonville, I think I already said that they did new coaching. I'll get that later. Yeah. So 44-6, the game was not even close. And as for Arizona, they had a really disappointing year, as people know. They were my NFC pick to go to the Super Bowl. That was a major flop. There is stuff there. They have David Johnson, who was a stud running back. 1,000 yards from scrimmage. Very good running back. Larry Fitzgerald's not getting any younger. I think they really need to change up the play calling, maybe a new coach. Defensively, I think they played very well this season. It's just that their offense was not clicking, and Carson Palmer is a big result of that. And I think this probably is the team I think will draft Deshaun Watson out of Clemson, which that will be a very interesting team up with Deshaun Watson and David Johnson. Look for that next year. As for the Rams, they need offensive line help, they need a receiver, they need an offensive head coach, they need a new culture there in LA. That's the biggest problem. All right, Giants defeated the Redskins 19-10. The Giants' defense dominant again. Kirk Cousins was shut down. Now this Kirk, like I said before, if Kirk Cousins is not signed with the Washington Redskins, my pick for them to go is the Jets. I don't doubt it that he might go ahead and sign with the Jets. Why not? I mean, that's what as for Washington, what they really need is defense. They don't have a defense at all to help them. And they kind of prove it because John Gruden fired everybody from his defensive staff, which is good because the defense was not good last year. I don't think they have much talent on the defense other than Josh Norman. I think Josh Norman's a really good corner. He's a good corner, but it's not a one-man show here. You gotta be better on defense. Chiefs defeated the San Diego Chargers 37-27. Chiefs are going to the playoffs. They clinched the AFC West and have the number 2 seed. The Chargers 5-11. They fired their head coach Mike McCoy. I think that what they really need is, I think that it had to happen. They had to get a new head coach. I think there's a lot of talent on the team. They have the cornerback. I'm blanking on his name right now. I don't remember his name. Sorry. They have Joey Bosa, who's a big a stud. They lost Keenan Allen. They lost Danny Woodhead for the year. They also lost Melvin Gordon. With everything, if everyone's healthy, they should be fine. I think what they really do need is offensive line help. And I think they should draft offensive linemen to help out because each one of them goes down. Fluker keeps going down. Guys like that. I think they have everything else with them. They have the running back. They have a quarterback for another 2 years. Maybe draft a backup quarterback and say the second round, have him develop for a couple more years, and then be the one to take over Phil Rivers. I'm not really sure what their backup quarterback situation is out there in San Diego, but I think that's a good idea for them. They have the running back. Melvin Gordon, he had a really good first half of the year before he got injured, that injured hip. And as for and Gates is probably going to be retiring. They have Hunter Henry, who's a really good receiving tight end. Maybe they should draft the number 2 receiver because once Keenan Allen went down, that was it. They had Terrell Williams there, but I think it's if he can't stay healthy, if Keenan Allen can't stay healthy, it's not where he goes, the offense goes, and the offense was kind of inconsistent. And Phil Rivers, he threw a lot of interceptions, but most of them not his fault. The team was in mostly every game. This team could have easily finished 8-8 instead of 5-11 where they are. The Seahawks narrowly defeated the San Francisco 49ers 25-23. The Seahawks are looking vulnerable. The Niners suck. They really do suck. Jed York, you've officially taken over as the biggest tool in the NFL with your comment that you fired Chip Kelly. You have no idea what you're doing. Sorry, get out of the business. Get out. The only reason why you got the position of power you did is because your ma owns the damn team. Lucky guy. Really lucky person, Wilson had a touchdown. Not really much to say in this game. I think this is kind of showing more of the holes on San Francisco. They can't run. It's actually on Seattle. They can't run the ball. Earl Thomas went down. Michael Bennett's hurt. The defense is banged up going into the playoffs. This is a very vulnerable Seattle team going into the playoffs. And this is not the same team that it was a couple years ago where they won the Super Bowl and they were almost repeated if it wasn't for, a godforsaken pass. All right, next up, Oakland lost 24-6. The game was not even close. They're down to the 13 quarterback and Connor Cook. They're going to the playoffs. Big news coming out here is that Gary Kubiak for the Broncos is stepping down as head coach. So there's another head coaching vacancy. Oh, I forgot to say what the Niners need. Everything. Anyway, what Denver really should be looking for is a new quarterback, offensive. I think they really do need offensive line help, and maybe another backup running back because once C.J. Anderson went down, there went their season. It went down the drain once he went down. The Falcons defeated the Saints 38-32. Ooh, excuse me. Just another high-flying offensive performance by the Falcons. Another 5,000-yard season for Drew Brees. Good for him. Future Hall of Famer. I'll give us props. And this game does seal the fact that I think Matt Ryan's going to win the MVP. I think Matt Ryan is going to win the MVP, despite the fact that he has Julio Jones and everyone's around him. But besides that, I think what the Saints really do need is they really do need defensive help. I don't think that's pretty lightly. Yeah, they do. Their defense sucks. It really did. It really sucked. And Drew Brees, year after year, has great season after great season, but can't win without that defense, and that defense is putrid. Let's see here. Now, finally, the Green Bay Packers, they ran the table. They defeated the Lions 31-24. Matt Stafford made it interesting at the end. He's in the conversation for MVP. If I was voting, he would get my second vote. Green Bay wins the division title. And they'll be facing the Giants tomorrow, which I'll preview. Actually, on Sunday, sorry. Which I'll preview that coming up next. But both of these teams are in the playoffs due to Washington losing. Well, Washington needs defense, like I said before. By virtue, which, I didn't put much stock in the game for me because, I kind of like that if you win, you're in. If you lose, you go home kind of mentality. It makes the game a little bit more dramatic and more interesting. But other than that, Aaron Rodgers is on fire. Absolutely on fire going into the postseason, and definitely a team that you don't want to face. Okay, so that's it for the Week 17 review. Now I'm going to talk about the head coaching vacancies. There's 6 of them in total as of right now. And what I would do, what coaches I think are going to go there, and what I think if it was the right decision or not. So I'm going to rank all 6. Okay, starting with my number 1 place to go. If I'm a head coaching candidate, this is the place I really do want to go to. That is the Denver Broncos. The Denver Broncos have a championship caliber defense. They have good receivers. Running back, if he stays healthy, is good. A good GM. A very stable environment. That's where I would go first. And who I think will go there, probably Kyle Shanahan. That's my pick. Because, Mike obviously coached there when he won the 2 Super Bowls. Even though they left on bad terms, I think they kind of kissed and made up. And I think Kyle Shanahan will go there. He'll definitely work out with, help out Trevor Siemian and Paxton Lynch next year. Maybe the Denver Broncos could actually, have a good job going for them. Number 2 is the Rams. The Rams have a great defensive line, really good corners. Offense is a mess. So I would bring in an offensive stable head coach in terms of maybe Josh McDaniels with Jimmy Garoppolo is my idea. Having him go there, I think that's probably the best for them. They can't whatever you do, don't hire. I wouldn't hire a defensive guy. This team's an offensive mess. Maybe he can help out with probably Goff. Maybe he can help out with Goff. He can. I would have fired the GM too. I would have brought in some. Because you drafted 7 offensive linemen, all of them suck. They don't really have a number 1 receiver. They have a bunch of number 2s and a number 3, but they don't really have that stable receiver that I think it's just an awful mess in terms of the offensive side of the ball, which is why I think Josh McDaniels can go there and I think he can succeed. Number 3 is San Diego. Like I said before, they have good pieces on defense, good pieces on offense. I think what they really need, I think they're just really unlucky and they need health. They're moving to LA. So that would be my number 3 spot. And if it was my guess, I would guess it'd be like a defensive coordinator. So I think Steve Spagnuolo might get the job. I think because how well he did with the defense in New York. That's probably who I would be interviewing. I'd be interviewing guys like him, Jim Schwartz, the guys like that to come in and be my coordinator. Next up will be Jacksonville. They have a lot of talent on that team. Bad market. The Jaguars are a bad market. I'm sorry that it is. I would take maybe I would keep Doug Marrone as the head coach. Even though in Buffalo he brought that team to a nice stable level. He got them to 8-8, better than Rex Ryan did. But I would allow him to come in, instill discipline. I would actually bring in Tom Coughlin as an advisor. Someone like that. Next up is San Francisco. I would not touch this place with a 10-foot pole. Why? The GM's a tool, like I said before. Unstable environment. They go through coaches like Corbwood, like a piece of wet paper. New ones. Then you got the problems with the fact that they have no talent on the roster. It's bad. It's bad. And 6 is Buffalo. You can't attract any free agents up there in Buffalo. Unstable work environment. Fans are nuts. At least you got that. At least you got that going for you. Quarterback's a mess. You don't really have a quarterback to work with. And that's the biggest problem there in Buffalo. And it's like no one's gonna go there. Well, no one's gonna go there. They're gonna compete against New England and Belichick, Brady, or Garoppolo for the next 10 years. Next 15 years, about. I would not go there. I would not go there if I was a head coaching, kind of thing. I would not go there at all. So that's going to conclude that portion of the show. Now let's move on to why people will click on this video, and that's the playoffs. So I'm gonna tell you my thoughts on all 12 playoff teams based on their seeding. So let's just go ahead and take a look here. So starting with the New England Patriots, so we're going to start with the AFC. Number 1 seed is the Patriots. Model of consistency, reasons why they'll win. They have the best QB in the league in terms of like being in the situation before and proving themselves. They have a very good receiving core. They have a very easy road to the playoffs. The defense has come alive as of late. They are first in points allowed. And they got lucky in the fact that Kansas City and Pittsburgh got to face each other. Next up is Kansas City. I think their defense is really good. There's a lot of talent on that team. On the defensive side of the ball. The biggest issue with them is that their coaching is way too conservative. And I don't think that they're going to travel. They kind of do have a tough road coming to Foxborough. Because it looks like that's what it's going to be. It's either them going to travel to Foxborough or it's going to be Pittsburgh traveling to Foxborough. They got to go against Pittsburgh and New England in probably the next two rounds they're facing up against each other. But I do think this team is on the rise, and I think it was my pick to win the AFC West anyway. And yeah, they're a really good team, really talented. They got, especially on the defense side of the ball, they have a secondary: Marcus Peters and Eric Berry. They have a pass rush in Tamba Hali, D Ford, and Justin Houston when healthy. They don't have Derek Johnson. They lost him for the season, but they do have those. The tight ends, they're probably the best tight end currently in the league. That's other than Gronk, because obviously he's injured. And Travis Kelce, another massive tool, by the way. Tyreek Hill is an absolute weapon that they can use, so there's a good reason, but I think their coaching is way too conservative in terms of that point. The Pittsburgh Steelers, best offensive football. They have Le'Veon Bell, Big Ben, Antonio Brown. Other than that, the defense sucks, and I don't think their coaching's that good. So that's the reason why they probably won't beat the playoffs. Houston, you got DeAndre Hopkins. You got that going for you. Good defense. Why they won't make it? Brock Osweiler. That's the reason. If you want to be following us, why they won't make it? Brock Osweiler will cost them in the end. Next up is Oakland. Unfortunately, if they had Derek Carr, this team has a good chance of getting to the Super Bowl. Other than that, they have a great offensive line, good running back, good receivers. Defense is terrible. They're on the third string quarterback, and their coach has not won anything. So there we go. That's pretty much it. If Derek Carr was playing, I wish he was still healthy, which it sucks that he's not. Then we have the Miami Dolphins. Let's see here. The head coach. Adam Gase might surprise people in terms of how well he can coach up Matt Moore. They probably have the toughest road to get Super Bowl. Let's put it like that. Because they would have to go. They're going to Pittsburgh, to New England, to Kansas City. Sorry, Dolphins fans. I'm not picking the Dolphins to win. Now for the NFC, the Dallas Cowboys. Reasons why they'll win: best line in football. They could dominate the game in terms of mauling opponents. Reasons why they'll lose: their head coach is not that good. Their defense is not that good either. They're perennial chokers. I put a lot of stock in that too, that they're perennial chokers. Next up is Atlanta. Great offense. Matt Ryan's going to be the MVP. Julio Jones is one of the best receivers in the game. The best running back tandem in the league. Defense is not that good. Coach is unproven. And once again, they're perennial playoff chokers. Seahawks. Russell Wilson's, I think, is a top 5 quarterback. Good proven defense in the playoffs. Reasons why they won't make it: they have no running game. Their offensive line's a mess. Their defense is it's shaky now because of Earl Thomas being out, and it's not the same defense it was. So yes, it works both ways. The Packers. Aaron Rodgers is hot. And I don't mean that his looks. I mean he's hot as in he is going into his playoffs, hitting on all cylinders. Reasons why they'll fail: their head coach and their defense is not that good. They lost in terms of the secondary. The secondary is a mess, absolute mess. The only reason why they make it is because they got the quarterback. The Giants, proven playoff team. Eli has stones in the playoffs. Their defense is absolute. Their defense is the best in football currently, I think, in the playoffs. They have Snacks Harrison, Janoris Jenkins, Olivier Vernon. All have worked for the Giants. What will cost them? The offense is actually stalled, surprisingly, and it's not really. It's not. They're not coming into this playoffs, rolling. They're kind of stumbling in terms of offensively. And their head coach has not won anything. If this was Tom Coughlin, I'd be scared to death of this team. I would be scared to death to face them. If Tom Coughlin was still the head coach, but he's not. It's Ben McAdoo. I don't know what Ben McAdoo is. I just know him as the guy with a big giant play sheet that looks like he's ordering food off of. He's all a Big Mac and see a slant road, go through a slant road. I don't know why I made him sound like Marlon Brando from The Godfather. Yes, I'm going to make him out so he can't refuse. The Lions. Matt Stafford's an MVP candidate. Reason why they lose: they have nothing around him. Receivers, all number 2 receivers. Offensive line's terrible. No running game. Defense is bad. Head coach is ugh. So that's it. I just give you all 12 playoff teams. One reason why they win. One reason why they lose. Let's take a look at the games. All right, let's start here. Oakland and Houston. This game's gonna suck. I also have my friend Chris's picks as well, so I'm gonna go refer to his picks as well. As for me, I think this game's going to be an absolute dog. It's going to suck. It is going to suck. Like every ESPN game that they put on there for the playoffs, it's going to blow. Yeah, Brock Osweiler versus Connor Cook. What are you going to do with it? All right, I'm gonna take the Texans because, well, I'm wearing the jersey for a reason. I'm wearing Vince Wilfork's jersey for a reason. I like Vince. That's about it. If Derek Carr's playing, I would take the Raiders. I would definitely take the Raiders in this game. But I'm taking the Texans because they're at home. That's count for something. They've been good at home. I think they are 7-1 at home. As for Chris, he does pick the Raiders to win. Next game is the Seahawks and Detroit. Like I said before, the Seahawks are in a very vulnerable position. The Lions, the quarterback, has played really well. He's an MVP candidate. But I will take the more proven playoff team. Chris agrees with me. We'll take the more playoff teams in Seattle. I'm taking the Seahawks. Pittsburgh versus Miami. I'm taking Pittsburgh. There's no doubt on this one. That's like 3 games of crap right here. Actually, maybe Detroit and Seattle might surprise me, but I will take the Pittsburgh Steelers at home. I think they're gonna come out like a house of fire against that Miami team that's just down in that more. All right, let's see here. Giants and Packers. This is the game I'm most looking forward to. The last time these two teams met in the playoffs in Lambeau Field, Aaron Rodgers was 15-1 in the league MVP, and Eli went up there and kicked his ass. Proceeded to go up there, kick his ass, and win, and they proceeded to go on to win the Super Bowl. Now, I think let's do a round table here. Oh, Chris picks the Pittsburgh Steelers too, but should we really elaborate on that more? But here we go, round table, starting with the quarterback. I think Aaron Rodgers is the best quarterback in the league currently, in terms of being the hottest quarterback. Eli has struggled through the second half of the year. So, advantage Packers. Running game. Both these running games are bad. Or really bad running games. So, I will say, I'm going to give it to the Packers again. Ty Montgomery's played great. At running back, actually, he's played good at running back. I don't want to say great. He's played good at running back. So I'll give it the Packers because the Giants' running game is non-existent. Receivers. You have Jordy Nelson. Randall Cobb apparently is hurt, so he might not play. So going up against Odell Beckham Jr., Sterling Shepard, and Will Tye. I'll take the Giants in this. Defense. I told you. Giants' defense, best defense in the playoffs. So I'll take the Giants again. So down 2-2 going to the final category, head coach. Ben McAdoo, which I said before, has not proven. And Mike McCarthy, who I said might cost the Packers. Yeah, that's right. Both these coaches I said probably will cost them in the end of the playoffs. But I'm giving the advantage to McCarthy since I kind of know what he is in the postseason. He's won a Super Bowl at this point. Now, as for my pick in the game, I think the Giants' defense is massively improved since the first time these two teams met in Week 2. I think that the secondary will... Okay, so bold prediction for this game. I say Eli Manning outplays Aaron Rodgers. And I'm picking the Giants to win this game handily. Actually, no, shouldn't. At a last second touchdown or an overtime, I will take the Giants to win this and move on to the next round against Dallas. So by my calculations, Chris doesn't agree with me. He picks the Packers. So I'm just gonna go through the rest of the whole thing, and I have the whole bracket all played out. So let's see here. So my games would be Houston at New England, Seattle at Atlanta, Giants and Cowboys, and Pittsburgh and Kansas City. Starting with the first one, I'm picking the Patriots. I think there's no doubt on that one. I'll take the Pats in that one. As for the second one, it will be Detroit and Seattle. Seattle and Atlanta. I'll take Atlanta at home. I think the defense for Seattle is shooken up. I don't think when they were fully healthy, they barely beat them at home, and they got to go travel on the road. They got to travel on the West Coast, on the East Coast. I'll take the Falcons in that game. As for the other two games, it's going to be the Pittsburgh and Kansas City. I will pick the Chiefs to win at home, and the Giants and Dallas Cowboys. Dallas Cowboys don't want to face them. I'm picking the Giants. So in my AFC and NFC title games, it's Kansas City and Kansas City at New England, and Giants at Falcons. I will take the Patriots against. I'll take the Pats versus the Kansas City, and I'll take the Giants to win on the road against the. Yeah, that's right. I'm actually making this happen. I'm picking the Giants. So we have the Super Bowl, the third time. Brady, Manning, Eli, Super Bowl in 3 separate occasions. Give me the Patriots to win, and finally put to rest that damn 2 losses to the Super Bowl. against the Giants because of 2 lucky catches. So my pick to win the Super Bowl, obviously, is the New England Patriots. And it's not because of my own personal biases. I think that they're personally the best team in the league. Now, can the Dallas Cowboys, make some noise? I think so, but they're not proven, and they're perennial chokers. So unless they show me otherwise, that's what they are to me. Perennial chokers, and they will choke when the lights are on bright and the game's on the line. And that was before Dak Prescott. That was also with Troy Aikman after they won the 3rd Super Bowl. So that's going to do it for me, the Football Reporters. I will see you guys Monday after the 4 wildcard games. I will preview the divisional games. I will review the wildcard games. And I will give you my MVP. And I will also report on different breaking news stories, including head coaching hirings, free agents. I also do, so next week also we'll be doing the free agent signings and everything else, all that crap. That's going to do it for me. Enjoy your playoff football, everybody. Signing off.